Introduction. The Bayou shadows, Louisiana nights have a weight all their own. The humid air clings to the skin like a second layer, thick with the scent of moss, wet earth, and the faint tang of the Mississippi River. Small towns and suburban neighborhoods seem quiet, even idyllic. Children play under the soft glow of streetlights. Dogs bark in the distance. Spanish moss sways gently from oak trees. On the surface, life appears ordinary, safe, predictable. But beneath that surface, shadows move. Secrets fester in quiet homes. Pain, fear, and tragedy often arrive without warning. In one quiet neighborhood in Louisiana, a mother's choice would shatter the illusion of safety forever. It was a decision that would haunt her, her family, and the entire community. It was a night that would leave a child dead and countless hearts broken. The mother and the daughter, Samantha, fictionalized for narrative, was 32 years old. On the surface, she was charming, attentive, and protective. Friends admired her dedication to her daughter, Lily, aged 7. To the outside world, Samantha seemed like the perfect mother, warm, engaging, devoted, and always present. But life is rarely as simple as appearances. Samantha struggled privately. She felt trapped in her circumstances, financial pressures, a complicated romantic life, and the weight of raising a child alone after her marriage ended. The divorce had left its mark, and custody battles with her ex-husband Daniel were emotionally exhausting. Every visitation schedule, every minor disagreement became fuel for anxiety and frustration. Lily was a bright, joyful child. She loved reading, drawing, and playing in the small park near their home. She trusted her mother completely. But unbeknownst to her, her world was slowly shifting, and the person she trusted most was about to make a choice that would end everything. The boyfriend, enter Marcus, Samantha's boyfriend. Charismatic, persuasive, and volatile, he had a magnetic presence. Samantha's friends initially saw him as a stabilizing influence, someone who could bring laughter and attention into their lives. But Marcus had a darker side, manipulative tendencies, an inability to accept boundaries, and a simmering anger that occasionally erupted in minor conflicts. His influence on Samantha was profound. He became the center of her emotional world. Every decision she made was filtered through her desire to maintain their relationship. Slowly, Lily's needs and well-being were deprioritized. The tension was subtle at first: missed school pickups, canceled plans, and moments of distraction. But soon, it escalated into choices that were dangerous, reckless, and irreversible. The dangerous decision: it was a humid Thursday evening in November. Samantha told Daniel she would be spending the night at her mother's house. He believed she would be caring for Lily responsibly. Instead, she returned home alone, driven by a desire to be with Marcus. The house was quiet. Shadows from the street lamps outside fell across the living room. The faint ticking of a clock filled the silence. Samantha knew what she was doing was risky. She hesitated for a moment, glancing at Lily, who was playing on the floor, completely unaware. But the pull of her obsession with Marcus was stronger than any maternal instinct. She made her choice. The incident, details of the night are harrowing, but they must be recounted to understand the tragedy. Samantha left Lily in a situation that was immediately dangerous. The girl's vulnerability was magnified by her trust in her mother. By prioritizing her boyfriend over her child, Samantha set in motion a chain of events that would end in unimaginable horror. Neighbors would later report hearing nothing unusual, nothing to hint at the tragedy inside. The horror was silent, invisible, hidden behind closed doors. By the morning, emergency responders would arrive to a scene that would shock the entire community. Lily had been gravely harmed. Attempts at medical intervention were made immediately, but the child's injuries were severe. Emergency response: the 911 call came in just after sunrise. Samantha's voice on the line was calm, almost eerily so, describing the situation. Paramedics rushed to the scene, navigating narrow suburban streets, their lights flashing against the early morning fog. Inside the house, the paramedics worked frantically. The little girl's injuries were life-threatening. Every second mattered. The ambulance roared toward the hospital, sirens cutting through the still Louisiana air. Nurses and doctors prepared for the emergency, the gravity of the situation setting a somber tone in the emergency room. The arrest, police arrived within minutes of the emergency call. After assessing the scene and questioning Samantha, they determined her role in the incident was critical. She was taken into custody without resistance. Marcus, meanwhile, was questioned for his involvement. The community was stunned. Friends and neighbors could not reconcile the image of Samantha, the devoted mother, with the reality of her choices. Rumors spread quickly, each retelling more sensational than the last, but the truth was already devastating enough. Investigation and evidence. Investigators meticulously pieced together the night's events. Forensic evidence confirmed Samantha's decisions directly led to Lily's injuries. Interviews with neighbors, teachers, and family members revealed patterns of neglect, obsession, and escalating risk-taking behavior. Marcus' role was examined closely. While he did not directly harm Lily, his influence and presence were a central factor in Samantha's choices. Investigators concluded that a combination of psychological manipulation, emotional dependency, and reckless priorities had created a lethal environment. Court proceedings. Samantha's trial was highly publicized. The courtroom was tense. Families, reporters, and the general public crowded in, each person searching for answers. The prosecution highlighted the pattern of neglect and obsession that culminated in the tragic night. The defense cited emotional instability, obsession, and psychological stress. Expert witnesses testified about the dangers of impaired judgment under emotional influence. Social workers detailed prior warning signs. The courtroom became a theater of grief, guilt, and analysis, each testimony revealing more about the human cost of misplaced priorities. In the end, Samantha was convicted. The sentence reflected both the gravity of the crime and the irreplaceable loss of a young life. Marcus faced legal scrutiny as well, though the extent of his culpability was limited to emotional and psychological influence. Aftermath. The neighborhood slowly tried to heal. Lily's school created a memorial, and community support groups offered counseling to affected families. Friends and relatives struggled with anger, grief, and disbelief. Samantha remained incarcerated, reflecting the reality that some mistakes can never be undone. The case sparked broader conversations about parental responsibility, emotional dependency, and the dangers of letting relationships cloud judgment. The story serves as a somber reminder that decisions made in the heat of obsession or desire can have catastrophic consequences. Closing reflection. In Louisiana, the humid nights still carry whispers of tragedy. Shadows stretch across streets that once seemed safe. The story of Samantha and Lily is a chilling reminder. The bonds of love can become twisted, priorities can be misplaced, and the cost of a single choice can be irreversible. We remember Lily not for the tragedy of her death alone, but for the reminder that innocence is fragile, life is fleeting, and the choices of adults can shape destinies in ways that are heartbreaking and permanent. Some nights, silence speaks louder than words. Some losses can never be replaced. Some stories must be told to prevent history from repeating itself.